The Vindicator Consolidated Gold Mining Company was established in 1896 by the German Zang family, a beer brewing powerhouse out of Denver. And here at the Vindicator #1 is where it all started for them as far as gold production. Word has it that the Cripple Creek Gold District's first millionaire, Winfield Scott Stratton, actually passed on the Vindicator claim because he thought it would be valueless. Instead, it became the fourth most profitable mine in the Cripple Creek Gold District, behind the Crescent, the Independence, and the Portland. Today, you can still visit the Vindicator ore house, a massive building clad in rusted corrugated metal sheets, and its head frame, its supporting metal legs bent with time. Looming over the valley for which it's named, the Vindicator sits at the head of the Vindicator Valley Trail, a loop that takes walkers up to the remains of many mines, accompanied by informative, interpretive signs and dedicated benches. As with many great things throughout history, the Vindicator mine can trace its origins back to the brewing of beer. Philip A. Zang was born in the German state of Bavaria in 1826. He was the son of John, a soldier who marched on Moscow with Napoleon, and his wife Frederica. At 14, Philip was apprenticed to a cooper, someone who makes wooden barrels, casks, and other large containers, and then to a brewer. In 1853, Philip made the crossing to Philadelphia and began working for the railroad. Eager to be a productive and successful immigrant to America, Philip poured a great deal of effort into learning English and the customs and courtesies of American society. In January 1854, Philip moved to Louisville, Kentucky, and on August 14, 1856, Philip's wife Elizabeth gave birth to their son, who they named Adolph Joseph Zang. In 1859, Philip opened a brewery which he named Zang & Company. He sold the brewery in 1869, and he and young Adolph again moved, this time to Denver, where he took the position of superintendent with the Rocky Mountain Brewery. In July of 1871, Philip bought the brewery and expanded its operation, giving it the largest brewing capacity of anywhere between San Francisco and St. Louis. In Cripple Creek, Philip saw a place to invest some of his wealth, and he began to grub-stake prospectors in exchange for a piece of their claim. In 1895, Philip and Adolph began mining their own gold camp property, the Vindicator Mine. And in December of 1896, the family established the Vindicator Consolidated Gold Mining Company. The founding directors were Philip's son-in-law Frederick Siegel as president, Guilford Wood as vice president, Frank Campbell as general manager, Philip's son Adolph Zang as treasurer, and Philip's other son-in-law Peter Frederick as director. Philip remained a major and influential stockholder in the mine until his death in February 18, 1899, at which point Adolph inherited his business and his wealth. By 1900, miners of the Vindicator had sunk 2 shafts, and by 1901, the mine had produced over $3 million in gold. On November 21, 1903, Orchard planted a bomb at the mine's 600-foot level for his masters at the Western Federation of Miners Union. When the bomb went off, it took the lives of shaft boss Melvin Beck and superintendent Charles McCormick. The union paid Orchard $300 to plant the bomb to kill non-union workers during a strike. As a side note, during that same strike, the union demanded its members also boycott Zang beer. The Vindicator mine was continuously improved, and by 1906, the Vindicator Consolidated Gold Mining Company acquired 2 other mining companies. By 1908, the Vindicator's mine shafts reached a depth of 1,200 feet, and the mine continued its high levels of production. The company's president, Frederick Siegel, died in 1913, and Adolf Zang took over. But with World War I not far away, production was beginning to suffer. The Vindicator was still strong enough to buy the Golden Cycle mine for $1.5 million in 1915, and that same year, the mining company also acquired an electrical plant. The Vindicator enjoyed a strong relationship with the Crescent mine in 1916 when Adolf J. Zang became a member of the Crescent's board of directors, and his son Adolf Frank Zang was appointed as the Crescent's secretary. But in September 1916, the senior Adolf became ill and died on the 28th of that month, and founding Vice President Guilford Wood was elected as president. Water accumulation was a constant problem in the depths of the mine, and by 1918, the Vindicator was pumping out 300 gallons of water per minute. In 1920, the pumping temporarily stopped and the mine began to flood. But by 1921, a drainage tunnel was driven to connect with the Roosevelt Drainage Tunnel, and the water was drained. In 1922, Bert Carleton, owner of the Crescent mine, purchased the Vindicator Consolidated Gold Mining Company under his United Gold Mines Company. Carleton was working to consolidate all the mines in the district. He was also instrumental in the creation of the Roosevelt Drainage Tunnel that served the Vindicator and many other mines. Bert Carleton died in 1931, and management of the United Gold Mines Company passed to his brother Leslie. But Leslie died in 1938, and Bert's widow, Ethel Carleton, took the reins. The onset of World War II was disastrous for the gold mines around the country. Deeming gold production was not essential to the war effort, the War Production Board issued Limitation Order L-208, in which mining manpower was diverted to resources the War Production Board identified as essential. After the war, the Vindicator mine was reopened, but mining costs had risen to the point where it was no longer profitable. The Vindicator finally closed permanently in 1958. I recently visited the Vindicator, and before I left, I set up my 4x5 large format camera and created a photo of the old ore house on a glass negative. For those of you who are familiar with photography, I adjusted my settings using the Sunny 16 rule. My glass plate negative had an ISO of 2, so I set my shutter speed to 1/2 a second and my aperture to f/16. After taking the picture and packing everything up, I went home and developed the plate in my darkroom, and here's the result. Thank you for joining me for this episode. This is Tommy Allen wishing you a great day. And should you find yourself holding a beer, maybe it's time to invest in some gold. I look forward to having you join me next time for more stories from the Midland.